Hi guys, Yuketsu here. New video. So, you just downloaded Path of Exile, you're starting the game, and you create a new character. What the hell are you going to do? At the moment, you should click on Crucible. Don't click Ruthless. Click OK. And now, there are 6 classes. Who am I playing? So, let's go through them. We have a Templar, which is a strength int character. Let's just stick with this first. Then we have the Shadow, which is a dexterity int character. We have the Marauder, which is a pure strength character. We have the Ranger, which is a pure dexterity character. We have the Duelist, which is a strength dexterity character. And we have the Witch, which is a pure int character. What does that mean? Maybe I even misrepresented the characters. I'll show you. I started another program here. I'll do another video on programs you should use, resources to help you. So, all of those characters, there's one hidden that you have to play through to get, but not as important. So all those 6 characters, or 7 even, start on the same skill tree. Everyone is starting on this big ass tree, and the only difference is you start at different points, and you can choose subclasses, or in Path of Exile they're called ascendancies. Every class, besides the hidden 7th one, has 3 ascendancies. Let's go through where you start on the tree and what you can expect from the classes, because most of the time you'll ask yourself, hey, I want to play a bow character. What person do I choose? I'm choosing Templar. Yeah, let's go through this. So we start with the... Okay, so here are the starting points. As you can see, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last one is here in the middle, 7th one. So, in the north, there we have the Witch. She is starting in the very, very int portion of the tree. The northern part of the tree is very int heavy. You start there as a Witch, and the Witch can choose between... Let's go. She can be an occultist, chaos damage, energy shield sort of stuff, curses. She can be an elementalist, where you either summon golems or you're just the typical elementalist. Yeah, the witch of the elements. You can be shape of storms, you can be shape of winter, shape of flames. You can pick all of them, or you want to be a good old necromancer. My current character that I started playing fresh is a necromancer. I love that. It's a very good ascendancy and class and playstyle for a new character, for new players. So yeah, if people like this, go for the necromancer. This is the Witch. As an example, we choose auto. You start at the very beginning where you decide to go either energy shield or spell damage, and then you can branch out all the way. As an example, if you want to go from the Witch starting point to the very bottom of the tree, you will only need to be level 27, more or less. There's skill books in the game, etc. But yeah, you don't need that many points to go all the way to the other side of the tree. Meaning, every class can be everything. There are very niche cases for a lot of classes, items, where you want certain combinations, and it makes sense to start on different characters. But just because on one tree... the cat is going crazy. Just because up here you have stuff like Heart of Thunder, increasing your lightning damage, doesn't mean you're forced to go Witch or here's the Templar. It just means that it is here, but there are many other means to increase your lightning damage if you want. Anyways, let's go on with the classes. So, witch is up here. She has the occultist, elementalist, necromancer. We go to the next one, which starts right here. And this one is the shadow. Zip. Looking like this. The shadow can be an assassin, focusing on either poisons or a lot on crit. Yeah, that really is all the assassin does. Crit, crit, crit. Then we have the trickster. Got a couple of reworks. Very, very strong ascendancy for almost every build you can imagine. Maybe not minions or some certain others, but overall, very, very strong ascendancy. Yeah, pretty cool. I really like it. It's very mobile. This one, for example, your action speed is at least 108% of base value. Doesn't sound very strong, but it's very, very strong. Overall, very good ascendancy. We can go into detail about those. And then we have the saboteur, which mainly focuses on mines and traps, but also has a very niche mechanic called trigger bots. But again, typical Path of Exile. I can dedicate an entire video just talking about trigger bots. It's crazy. Yeah. So those are the three ones. The shadow also starts, what maybe is worth mentioning, that, for example, the witch starts in an area where there are a lot of skill clusters with wands and curses and elemental damage. The shadow is in an area where he has a lot of crit stuff. He has a lot of chaos damage over time, daggers, claws, that kind of stuff. This is his main shtick. And yeah, well, yeah, crit, dagger, claws, that's kind of his thing. And mines and traps is also his thing. Then we go to the next one. We have the ranger. So up here we had pure int. Here is the dexterity intelligence mix. And now we go down here, which is the corner of dexterity. We have the ranger. It's a gal, she has a bow, and she can be a raider. The main point of the raider is to have frenzy charges and the onslaught effect. Frenzy charges, as the word might suggest, gives you a lot of speed, a lot of damage, and that's what it's for. Yeah, very, very cool class. If you just want to go fast, you can play pretty much everything. Maybe, again, not minions, but almost anything on a raider. It's just a zoom class. Very strong, very comfortable playstyle to play raider. It feels very good. If you once played a raider, you want to play a raider a lot. Then we have the Deadeye, as the name suggests here, in the picture as well. Focused on ranged stuff. For example, one of the sorry, my cat's going nuts. One of the first ascendancy points you get is called skills ricochet, skills chain +1 times, which is not too easy to find as a mechanic. She also has something called tailwind, making her faster. She gets far shot. So yeah, you get the idea. Focused on ranged stuff. Also, there's a certain type of mechanic in the PoE called marks, which is a subset of curses. Very cool class. And lastly, we have the Pathfinder, and she is just the gal for flasks. Very strong. Flasks in PoE are very, very strong, and if you want to focus around flasks and you want to make your character very, very strong through flasks, you can do this. I underestimated flasks for a long time in Path of Exile, but they're very, very strong, and you can build your entire defense or offense, or really both, just on flasks. And with this ascendancy and with a couple of other mechanics in the game, you can have your flasks run indefinitely all the time. It's crazy, very strong. So those are the three ones. Down here you will find dexterity stuff, like a lot of evasion, a lot of flask stuff is obviously here. she has a couple of sword nodes and mostly bow nodes, and this cluster here especially is for projectiles and a bit of crit, and obviously she can easily go into shadow. So next one is the duelist. Duelist is a mix of strength, which is in this corner, the last one, and dexterity. As you can see, swag looking guy. He, as you can already see, focuses on sort of one-handed stuff, but it's not necessarily what you need to do. The ascendancies, we have the good old Slayer. Thematically, I love that ascendancy. It's very, very strong. One of the things you can do in Path of Exile is you can cull enemies. If enemies are 10% HP, there's a skill gem. You can cull your enemies and they're instantly dead. The Slayer has something that kills enemies once they hit 20%. So it's a 20% cull. Pretty insane. Enemy is at his last fifth of HP. They're dead. Crazy good. Crazy good. So that's one thing you can play. He focuses a lot also on Leech. Very cool mechanic. If you want to go into Leech and AoE. Yeah, very strong ascendancy. I love it. Thematically, it's very, very strong. Then we have the Gladiator. Arguably, sadly, one of the worst ascendancies at the moment. There are some very, very strong mechanics in here. At the moment, really mainly the bleed. You can, if you want to have a bleed character, he's very strong. The first one gives you a lot of bleed chance. You need to build that up through different means. And he later has bleed explosions. Very strong because it can chain. You can kill a whole screen. All the enemies go and pop. It's crazy. It's very strong. So, well, that part. But overall, sadly, he lost his identity because they changed a couple of things. And yeah, it's but it's playable. It's playable. If you like bleed and you want to build a bleed character, go for it. Then we have the champion. One of arguably the strongest ascendancies in the game as well. He focuses on being tanky, being chunky, and he can deal a lot of damage as well. For example, there is a mechanic like in Diablo, as I heard. I haven't played Diablo 4. There's something called Fortified, and Fortified isn't very easy to get. It used to be a lot easier. They made it a lot harder to get it. And you being a gladiator, a champion, my bad. You being a champion, you just have fortification. Once you unlocked your first 2 labyrinths, we will talk about this later. 2 out of the 4 ascendancy points, by the way, just FYI. For example, you can have a tree like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, the big nodes, and then you're done. You cannot have more. Okay, it's Path of Exile. There is a way to get 1 more big point. We'll talk about this later. God damn it, PoE is so complicated and complex, but yeah, you could just have fortification, but you can decide if you want to be a caster. You can play a champion and just have fortification. Very, very strong. You take less damage from hits. Yeah, champion, very, very strong class. If you just want to be very chunky, very tanky, you can play this guy. That was the duelist. In his area, you will find stuff, a lot of block stuff, because normally he's focused around one-handers, but he has a couple of totem things. He has a lot of two-hand stuff, a lot of physical stuff. He has a lot of aura stuff. There are stances in the game that also reserve mana. Swords, physical damage, that sort of stuff. You probably get the idea. Next one. We have the chunky marauder. As you can already see in the picture, big buff guy. In this case here with the one-hander, but he also runs around with the two-hander a lot. Marauder, very fun class. First one, we have the Juggernaut. I don't think we have to talk about this. Giga beef, giga strong, very tanky. People love that. There is one build in the game, also very new player friendly, called Righteous Fire. And we particularly have one guy in the community that focuses on Righteous Fire and is the master of Righteous Fire, and that is Pox, P-O-H-X. He has an entire website. You find all the information. If you want to play a very chill character and you don't want to die ever, play his Righteous Fire characters. I'm not sure if he focuses on Marauder at the moment or Templar, but Juggernaut is definitely super strong. So yeah, if you want to be a chunky, tanky guy, go for the Juggernaut. Then we have the Berserker. I don't think I have to talk much about this one either. Thematically, he has 1 point. Aspect of Carnage. You take 10% increased damage or more damage. In this case, it's the same. But as an exchange, you also deal 40% more damage. Pretty crazy node. And it's not limited to one-handed weapons, two-handed weapons. You can play this as a caster as well. Does not work for minions. If you want to increase your minion damage, you need minion XXX in the wording. So yeah, Berserker can also go zoom zoom. One of his ascendancy points is called Blitz. He's also about Leech a lot. He's about War Cries a lot. Yeah, fun class. A lot of people love Berserker. Very fun. And last but not least here, we have the Chieftain. Totem guy, focuses on fire conversion, strength, also very tanky. He is getting a change. I'm not sure if that's only for PvE2, but yeah. I'm not entirely sure when that's gonna happen. But yeah, at the moment, he is the buff totem guy with strength, with fire damage, that sort of stuff. And yeah, you can find this in this corner. This strength here in this corner. You can find a lot of HP, health nodes. You find a lot of armor nodes. You find axes, swords, leech, a lot of leech, physical damage, life recovery, maces. Here, this one is a big one. Resolute technique. Your hits cannot be evaded, but you never deal crits. But that can be very useful because you have to care about accuracy in the game. Yeah, that's the thing. And last, we have the Templar. First one is the Inquisitor. Sort of a mix, like an elementalist and an assassin. He focuses on elemental damage, on also a lot of recovery and crit. One of his nodes is called Inevitable Judgment. Critical strikes ignore enemy monster elemental resistances. Very, very, very strong. You want to get as close as to 100% crit chance as possible. Yeah, very, very strong. Augury of Penitence. Nearby enemies take 16% increased elemental damage, and you take less elemental damage. And a very strong one is your Pious Path as well. Consecrated Ground, a very strong effect. Goes with you even if you move for 4 seconds. Yeah, very strong. Inquisitor also very fun. Hierophant. This guy's all about mana. There's one node in the game called Mind Over Matter. 40% of damage is taken from mana before life. So you investing into more mana and life, for example, here's a node, Heart and Soul. You get more max life, more mana. Yeah, Mind Over Matter is another layer of defense you can use, and he's the master of that. Yeah, Divine Guidance, for example, gives you another 10% of damage is taken from mana before life. And besides that, he's the totem guy. A very, very strong node is called Conviction of Power. You get 4 minimum endurance charges and power charges. There are 3 charges in the game. The strength charge is called endurance charge, making you more tanky. The dexterity charge is called frenzy charge, making you more speedy and more damage. And the int one is giving you more crit. Yeah, and you just get 4 endurance charges, 4 power charges all the time. Very cool. Yeah, that's the Templar. And then we have the Guardian. Support kind of guy, a lot of auras, a lot of defense, can basically be immune to curses. That's one thing you have to care about late game in PoE, that curses can become a problem, because in the end game, in maps, there are maps that curse you permanently. You go in the map and you're cursed. So Time of Need reduces those effects by 80%, and you can find other stuff on the tree to negate curses completely. It's very, very strong. So you just don't care about that map mod anymore. Yeah, very different stuff. I've played Guardian a lot, if at all. But yeah, can be very strong as well. Yeah, he's the paladin sort of person, I guess. And last we have the Scion here in the middle. And she starts from the middle, so she has sort of the shortest ways to everything. And she's very interesting. She can be only one ascendancy, which is called the Ascendant. And she has like a mini tree of the entire tree, and here you see it again. Int to the north, Dex int, Dex, Strength Dex, Strength, Strength int. And she can basically, she's like the jack of all trades. You spec one thing here, let's go Templar, and then you can pick like a mini version, a little weaker version of that one ascendancy. And if you can, if you go on, by the way, on the way there, you get more passive points. That's kind of cool. On the way there, you can ascend to Path of the Templar. So Scion normally starts here in the beginning. You go this, 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 this. And then since she has Path of the Templar, you can also start from the Templar start. So you're skipping a lot of the section here on the tree and just start somewhere else. In my opinion, it's sort of advanced. I think this is one of the reasons why you have to unlock her to play her. Honestly, for me, it's hard to make builds around her. I really like a lot of ascendancies that are just the basic ones, the OG ones. So yeah, those are all the ascendancies. Maybe that helps you to figure out what you want to play, what you want to start with. But again, maybe if you're more advanced, you can play whatever you want, and yeah, you can be a big ass marauder, and you could be spell slinging. That's a possibility. You could be a witch, and you could have some two-handed mace, two-handed axe, whatever, and do that. It's possible. It's Path of Exile. You can do whatever you want. So yeah. Hopefully that helps you. Maybe if you guys want to catch me on stream, it's twitch.tv.yuketsu. Yeah. Anyways, follow the channel. Subscribe, please, if that's interesting. And I'm gonna pump out a lot of videos until the league start and even after. And yeah, we'll see what other content I have. Have a good one, guys.